Here are all my shotgun microphones that I currently own that go on the camera, but then I also use it externally. In this video, I'm going to talk about all of these different shotgun microphones, some of the differences and the similarities. I'm going to do an audio test of all of them into this camera that I'm recording on right now, which is the Canon R5. And I'm going to talk about the different situations that I would use each of these microphones, and maybe if you're in the market for one of these, or if you have one and then you're thinking about upgrading to the other, these are the ones that I've been using. Two of them I had just purchased, so I'm not quite sure if they're going to replace them or they're going to supplement them. But here are all of the microphones I'm going to talk about going from left to right. The first one, this is a newer one that I had just purchased. This is the Rode VideoMicro NTG. With this one, it's not only a shotgun microphone, it also is a USB microphone. And it's the only microphone that has a dual purpose that's also a USB microphone. Here's the Rode VideoMicro Pro Plus. This is a very long, has been around for a while, and it's a very popular on-camera microphone. It's detachable cables, just like this other Rode. Then here's the Shure VP83. There's another version of the Shure that I had reviewed in another video that adds a micro SD card internally that records in addition to transferring the audio, so you have a backup. But I didn't really like that one. It was too big. But here's a much better version. A smaller version, I mean. Next, this is one of my longest acquired video mics that I've had for years, maybe more than a decade. This is the Shure MKE 400. Next is the Rode VideoMicro. This is also a very popular on-camera microphone. Out of all of these are all battery powered. This is the one that's not battery powered. And then the last, my newest purchase, in addition to the Rode NTG, this is the Sennheiser MKE 200. I have the 400, and then this is the 200. This one is also a plug and play. It does not require any batteries. This is a windscreen that's built around. It's very small. This is one of the reasons why I got it, and I'm hoping that this is going to replace the Rode VideoMicro, because I like this form factor a lot better of how compact it is compared to the VideoMicro here. The VideoMicro is really small as well. I thought this was going to be my all-purpose, but then I saw when I saw the Sennheiser MKE 200, you can see just how much smaller it is. The Rode VideoMicro comes with the windscreen, and so does the Sennheiser. Here's the accessories you get: a little pouch, and you get a windscreen that's really nice. It's like a mink coat. I like the material here. I might just rub this against my cheek. Then you also get two cables. One cable goes into the phone, and it's even labeled right here. It says smartphone, and then the other cable goes into the camera. It connects in the front of the microphone, which is different from all the other ones. Usually they go from the back, like the VideoMicro here, but then this one goes in the front. And some people I've been seeing are complaining about how it's in the front and it can be in front of the lens. But I got this for my Sony ZV-1, and if you put it on the ZV-1, which has a hot shoe, or a cold shoe, it's a very perfect size for this. But I understand that, yeah, I get it. This cable going right here, it could dangle in front of the lens. But I think why Sennheiser did this was to, when it goes behind here, it also causes problems when the cable is behind. It covers your LCD, it gets in the way for different things, but I would put it like this, get the cable here. How is this autofocus working on the R5? I'm curious how good it's going to be. But there, yeah, so you do it like this, and there's no dangling around, so it's very tight. It's tight in. Whereas if you were to use this cable, there's going to be some areas where it could catch on stuff. But I think I like this better. I think I like the way it's designed. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to detach this here. I'm going to plug this MKE into the mic port of my R5, and I'm going to talk directly into the microphone. Here is the Sennheiser MKE 200. I'm pointing it directly at my mouth. I have it connected to an extension, a 3.5mm extension cable that's going into my Canon R5 right now. So I'm about 12 inches, foot away from the front of the microphone. And this is what it sounds like. I had to dial up the gain in the camera right before when I was filming the introduction to all these microphones. I was using an this Edutage mic, and it had, even though it's still plug and play, it's plug and play just like the Sennheiser MKE 200, but it has a much hotter signal, and I had to double up the decibel levels with using the MKE 200. So it doesn't require a ton of power, but it does require a lot more power than this Edutage omnidirectional. So right now I'm just going to do a quick test of the off-axis rejection. So I'm going to turn the microphone away from my mouth, and this is what it sounds like when I'm not pointed directly at my mouth. And here's when I'm pointing straight down, and this is completely 180 from where my voice is coming from. And now I'm going to turn the mic all the way back facing my mouth. Okay, there you go. And then I'm going to test the handling noise of the microphone. This mic has it, you can't see it because it's wrapped. What's really cool about this mic is that it does have, I believe it has stabilization. It has a shock mount. It has an internal shock mount inside this little capsule here. So as I'm shaking the mic here, you shouldn't hear the microphone at all. So you can have this while you're running, and you shouldn't be able to hear the mic hitting anything or the mic bouncing around because it has some kind of a shock mount inside, and it's tiny, it's small. I can't hear anything. I'm gonna check some handling noise of the cable. Yeah, the cable is completely silent to my ear. Can't even hear the cable, so that's good. So the cable's really robust, and the microphone itself is, yeah, I can't hear anything when I'm shaking it. Here's the Rode VideoMicro. I'm pointing it right at my mouth. It's about a foot away, and I have the gain level set exactly the same as I did with the Sennheiser MKE 200. So it seems like it requires the same amount of gain, and I'm going to now test the off-axis rejection. I'm going to turn the microphone to the side. So here's what it sounds like when noise is coming from the side of the microphone. And now I'm going to turn it all the way facing away from my voice. This is what it sounds like when the microphone is away from the audio source, where the noise is coming from in my mouth, and I'm turning it back to where my mouth is. Okay, now I'm going to test the handling noise. So this is what it sounds like when you're shaking the microphone, or you have it on a camera and then you're just running and gunning. It's pretty quiet. And now the cable noise. I hear the cable a little bit more than I did with the Sennheiser. So if you do end up messing with the cable, that's what it's going to sound like. This has been, for the longest time, this was my go-to mic, and I think I still like it. It's just that right now, looking at the Sennheiser MKE 200, I would choose the Sennheiser over the Rode VideoMicro right now. But if you have the VideoMicro, I don't think you would really need to update unless you want a smaller, more durable-looking microphone. Here is the Sennheiser MKE 400. Now, this is the microphone I've had the longest. I've had this for over 10 years. And this is, I don't think they even make, do they make this? They might make this still, or it's discontinued. But at the time I got it, it was a really good mic. The only other competitor was Rode's first version of their on-camera microphone. I think it had 1 or 2 versions. The early versions were competing with it. Now there's no competition. I think Rode dominates the on-camera microphones, the 3.5 millimeter microphones. But right now I have it pointed directly at my mouth. I am 1 foot away, and I have the settings here. It requires a AAA battery, and I had to turn it on. And then there's 2 settings for volume. Right now I have it at the lowest volume. I'm going to swap it over to the highest volume, and I don't think I'm going to have to adjust the gain in the camera that much either. Okay, I just increased the gain that's built into this microphone, so it should be louder, but not as loud as the Rode microphones can get, or the Shure. So I'm going to test the handling. The shock mount on this microphone is not as good. It's small, but it's not, if you can see it here on the bottom, that's where the shock mount comes from. And it's not good plastic, or I mean, it's lasted this long, but I think this could snap at any moment. Now I'm going to test the off-axis rejection. This is what it sounds like from the side. This is what the microphone sounds like when it's pointed completely away. The off-axis rejection is pretty good. All right, now I'm going to point the microphone back to my mouth. You can hear me handling the actual mic, the mic itself, but you can't hear it when I'm touching it from the hot shoe or the cold shoe. But you can hear it here, so that's not good. And now the cabling. Yeah, I hear the cable noise a lot. The cable's not detachable, and the cable looks like it's about to wear out as well. So this is it lasts. This is just proof that these kind of mics, if you take care of it long enough, you can last a decade and still function right. I don't use this very much. To me, this mic sounds very thin, very tinny and very thin compared to the Rode microphones. But I don't know. What do you think? Does it sound thin to you? We'll see when I move up the ladder with the other microphones. Here's the Shure VP83, and this one is a lot hotter signal than the other microphones that I was using, the Sennheiser MKE 200, 400, and the Rode VideoMicro. So the VP83 has a lot of power. I am about a foot away from my mouth. And just going back to the other microphone, the Sennheiser, here's what the battery compartment looks like. Open it up. And there's where you can fit in the AAA battery. I think it lasts for 3 to 4 hours. I have to check the specs, but I don't think anyone would want to buy this right now because the Rode has way better options. But here's what the VP83 sounds like. It sounds more full. It's still a little thin, not as thick, heavy, deep as the Rode microphones are going to be. But this sounds really good, and it has some extra features. I reviewed this mic by itself, so I'm going to link below a full review of just the microphone. But here's what it sounds like when it's off to the side, and here's what it sounds like when it's facing the opposite direction. This rejection of off-axis rejection is pretty good. It's the best so far. Oh, and back here you can see there's an on-off switch, and then there's also a gain level. So you can take it down by -10, and then you could raise it by +20. Is it +20? Let me see. Yeah, it's +20. So you could add 20 decibels, and then you could take away -10 when you're in very loud environments. The reason why I've kept this in addition to the other Rode microphones, is that I had this windscreen. I think it's not, you have to purchase this separately, but what I do is I had kept this on this microphone just permanently. I just left it on, and I would use this whenever I am outside in very windy environments, like at the beach. When you're at the beach, it is just so windy, and the wind, if you have a bass sensitive microphone at the beach, or you're on a windy mountain, that wind will just destroy the low end. So with this microphone, I think there's a high pass filter as well, but it's naturally not as bassy. So the bass of the wind combined with this windscreen, it takes it out. So I get really good audio when I'm using this at the beach, or if I'm at the desert, anything where there's a lot of wind, I'll use this microphone over the Rode. Here's the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. And the difference with this microphone that are upgrades from the other microphones is that it has an internal battery that is proprietary to Rode, but then it also accepts 2 AA batteries. So if you don't get an extra Rode battery, you can put 2 AA's in there in a pinch and power the microphone. You can also detach the cable on this one. So the Shure, you cannot detach the cable. It's stuck in there. But this one you can. So you can add different cables for smartphones and other devices. And I'm gonna the thing about this Rode though, you should hear the bass. It's a little more bassier, but it requires more power in its neutral setting. The previous test I was doing with the Shure VP83, it had a hotter signal, so I turned the internal preamps of the R5 down. But with the Rode, this is the neutral setting, and I had to raise it up. So that's interesting. The Rode also has -10 plus 20 decibels, and it has some cutoffs, frequency cutoffs, and I think I think that's about it. So I'm going to test the off-axis rejection. Here's what the Rode microphone sounds like from the side, and here's what the mic sounds like when it's completely facing the opposite direction. There should be some reflection coming off of the ground here, but that's about it. And I'm going to turn it back towards the side, and now I'm going to turn it towards me. I heard some handling noise, but you wouldn't be holding it like this when you're using it. I'm going to hold it by the base and do a little shake test. Yeah, you could hear it a little bit. I would say the Sennheiser MKE 400 is the best with the shake, but you're getting a lot of stuff off of here. You're getting a lot of features here. This is the biggest, I would say the girthiest and the biggest microphone. So when you put this on the camera, it dwarfs the camera. Here's the Sony ZV-1, and you can see the Rode is bigger. This Rode VideoMic Pro Plus is bigger than the Sony ZV-1. There's a reason why so many people have this microphone, because the quality is just the best. And the battery, the one that comes with the Rode, I think it's supposed to last 100 hours. And you charge it with USB. There's a USB just to charge the mic, but you can't use the USB as an audio interface. But for you get 100 hours, and then after this battery dies, you can pop in 2 AA's. This could the longevity of just a long shoot day. It comes with you can purchase a windscreen separately, but I don't do that. But this is what it sounds like with the let me do some handling noise. Yeah, I hear the cable, and it's kind of bad, but you would just don't touch the cable. And finally, this is the Rode VideoMic NTG. This one isn't the most expensive. The Rode VideoMic Pro Plus is as expensive or a little bit more expensive than the NTG, but I find the NTG to be just as good as the Pro Plus and more feature rich. So if I were to if I had to choose one on-camera microphone, it would be the Rode VideoMic NTG because of its versatility. So right now I have it plugged in. It has a detachable cable, and it's pretty thick, much better. Yeah, I can still hear the handling noise, but I feel like it's much sturdier than the VideoMic Pro Plus. It's also smaller. I think it's the same length. Let me see here. Oh no, this is much longer. But the Rycote shock mount here is a little bigger. This is what it sounds like when I'm pointing directly at my mouth. This is a foot away. Here's the off-axis rejection, and then this is what it sounds like when the microphone's placed completely opposite of my mouth. Now I'm turning it more towards my mouth, and there you go. I can't really tell the difference with the Pro Plus and the NTG, but here are the extra features that you get with this microphone, and this is why I really like it. First, it has an adjustable, on the body here, it has an adjustable shock mount, so this can go back and forth, and you also have a, yeah, here's the 3/8. The other one also has a 3/8 as well. So you have to have an adapter if you want to put this on a regular tripod or a light stand, if you have a 1/4-20 light stand. Then also you could take this off of the shock mount if you don't want it there and have your own shock mount. You could use it with your camcorder. If you use a traditional camcorder with those microphone holders, you can use that instead of putting in this shock mount, although I recommend using their shock mounts because it's really good. And then the other party tricks here is that the battery, I think it lasts 30 hours. So when it comes to battery life, the Rode Pro Plus is better. 100 hours versus 30 hours. Yeah, there's no competition there. But you get more features, like I said. And there's the back here. You can't. Oh, you're not gonna hear me first. There's a dial here that you can control the gain. I think it's more powerful than the Pro Plus when it on its neutral setting, because I had to turn the camera preamps down to compensate for number 10, and it's down pretty low. It's down really low with the preamps, and you also have the USB-C cable, and this becomes a USB mic. So that alone, just by this becoming a USB mic, is what sets this far apart from all of the other microphones that I've reviewed here. But what I really like about this microphone, here's the thing that I have never seen in another microphone like this. Maybe the Deity has done this, but if there's a button here that you can switch to have a padded safety track. So you have I'm gonna see if it happens automatically. Hold on. There you go. Oh, wow. Okay, you should hear a difference in the audio right now, this stereo audio track. You should hear one side be a lot higher and the other track, the left and right channel, be a lot lower, because it has an automatic safety track. These microphones is a mono microphone, and all of these microphones are mono microphones. And then when you swap it over to this setting here, it changed to a safety track. So now you can always have protection of over-modulating, over-amplifying your audio. You don't blow it out. And no other mic has that capability built in. You have to have an extra device in order to do this. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to turn it back to... Okay, now this is the mono on both channels. But isn't that cool? I think that's what... You should already buy this microphone. If you're looking for a shotgun microphone, this is the one. And this is the versatility of this is why I'm going to use this more than all the other microphones. That's my overview of these microphones. To recap, I'm going to keep all of these microphones because I have so many cameras that I could mount them on. But I will say, if you're in the market for one that's powered and one that's not powered, my favorite are, surprise, surprise, the newest mics that I got. So if you don't need extra power and you want the smallest footprint, the MKE 200 Sennheiser right now is my favorite with the non-powered microphones. And then my favorite powered microphone is the Rode VideoMic NTG, just because of its versatility, and it's just as good as the Rode Pro Plus, except the battery doesn't last as long. I said a second ago that you could achieve this backup track with another device. So let me show you that real fast, and I'll end on this. So I'll use Rode VideoMicro Pro Plus. So this one, as I said, does not have a backup track. But what you could do is have an extra device like this Beachtech MCC2. What this does, it splits a stereo channel into two tracks, two mono tracks. And then what you could also do with this is take a stereo track and make a backup track. So here is the stereo. You plug it into the stereo, not left, right. Go into stereo. And then you have your output. And then in the back, when you switch it on to stereo, each of these are its own independent left and right channel of audio. So you could do one where it's left channel, you go loud, and the right channel you want to dial it back. And to test this out, let me turn this on. I'll just show you visually what this looks like, so you can see it on a camera, another camera. I'll just get get my Sony here. See how one of them is louder than the other channel? That's how I was able to make a backup track using here. So if I took both of them down, now you can see the tracks are more equal. And then if I put both of them up, you can see the tracks are both up. But to do a safety track, you do one loud or to the level that you know it's normal, that's normally loud, and then you just do another one that's protection. When you scream or there's a really loud sound, it protects that backup track, and that's what that does. So the Beachtech, this was about a $70 or $70-ish, $80-ish dollar device. You can find other brands like this that are cheaper, but this is a way that if you already have a microphone and you want to have that a protective track, this is the device to use.